starting today's video by entering the crop circle in Zenaris and ending up in none other than Puro-Puro. We're going to go ahead and start by trading Elnox some implings in return for a magic butterfly net. Along with this, I will purchase a jar generator just for its convenience, but for the most part, I'll have all the jars that I need for this video in the bank. But this jar generator is really useful for Ironman accounts. It's actually how I mainly hunt eclectics on my Ironman. Today, though, ladies and gentlemen, we are not on the Ironman. We're on the main account, and we're going to be doing 10 hours of Puro-Puro, only hunting the most profitable implings to see if this is worth it to do for main accounts and see the profit per hour across the 10 hour. Now, the only downside to this is that there are a lot of bots that do this in normal worlds. For example, this guy here with the Swamp Arc. So for today's grind, I will be using the total level worlds all day, 2Ks and 2200s, and I might be peeking into 1500s and 1750s, but we will see. And what do we have here? Just in the first few minutes of the 10 hour, a lucky impling. The rarest of all implings. This requires 89 hunter to catch with a jar, 99 to do it barehanded. And as I was typing out the intro, I was only focusing on magpies, ninjas, and dragons for all the profit, but I completely forgot about the lucky implings, simply because all in all, I've ran into about 3 of these in the past 5 years since they've been in the game. Maybe even longer than that, but we did successfully catch it after a few attempts. And I will be saving the opening of the lucky impling for the very end of the video. All the other implings though, for example the magpie here, which I made sure to tag via RuneLite, just right clicking it so that it would be highlighted blue anytime that I would see it. And it would also be blue on my mini map, because unfortunately the map here you can't really see much going on, so if you tag the implings that you want to get, you'll easily be able to spot them compared to if you weren't able to tag them. But as I was saying, we are not going to be opening the dragon, ninja, or magpie implings for clue scrolls this time around. I think I'm all clue scrolled out after last video. We are going to be selling them. I really want to see how much money Puro-Puro can net you in 2023. I'm really looking forward to finding that out today, but before we get started, this video is brought to you by Pocket Champs. In Pocket Champs, you can train your character's running, climbing, swimming, and flying abilities for the upcoming races. Strategize now to find the best race strategy through world analysis and gadget selection. And like any trainer, trust your champ. Lay back and watch them race when you are taking a well-deserved break from the OSRS grind. Right now is actually the perfect time to start playing because there's going to be a Christmas event soon and you don't want to miss out. It lasts from the 21st to the 28th of December. This winter event comes with an exclusive game mode and unique rewards. I personally love the fact that you can collect tons of rewards in this game, hundreds of gadgets, and all the cool skins that come with it. And I absolutely love the characters too. You can tell they really made these characters fully customizable and appealing for every generation. So what are you waiting for? Download Pocket Champs from the link in my description, as it really helps out the channel, and if you use that link you will also receive a starter pack with 500 gems plus Christmas tree skin. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code to download Pocket Champs and the rewards will automatically be added to your account on January 1st, 2023. This reward is worth $15 and is only available until December 31st, so hurry up. And a huge thank you to Pocket Champs for sponsoring today's video. Alright, getting back into today's video, our first hour of Puro-Puro. Now as you guys can see, I went with the entangling method, although I will say that's probably outdated compared to the alternative. The alternative being Dark Lure. This is a spell that is in the Arceus spellbook that requires only level 50 magic and completion of a kingdom divided. More on that later, but here's our first dragon impling. I don't think I need to tag these, or at least I tried to, but it wouldn't work. I think they're automatically tagged just dark red compared to the light blue. And to my surprise, just a minute later, I ran into a second dragon impling, so my luck was on fire this first hour, not only receiving 1 lucky impling, but now 2 dragon implings and a handful of magpies. Now, as I was saying about replacing Entangle, the reason I started with Entangle was because that's just what I always knew to do in order to freeze the impling, which, it's not another player or a monster, of course, so you can't damage the impling, but you can keep it in one place if you don't splash, which is why I was freezing them with Entangle, since it was the highest level spell that I had access to. I didn't go all out with using Swamp Bark, but for the most part, I never had anyone crash or take my implings, which not only led me to a 3rd dragon impling, but we almost have a full inventory of magpies and ninjas as well. Well, 1 ninja, but we're still going to continue to grow the inventory. 40 minutes in so far, and it's looking absolutely incredible. incredible. Gotta give a big credit to the 2200 worlds, and of course starting this video today at 6 a.m. EST. It is now 8:36 p.m. I just finished this 10-hour. I did it all today. December's been a really busy month, and yeah, I really can't thank you guys enough for the incredible support. And with that being said, our first hour has been completed. We're just gonna go ahead and catch this last ninja impling, but I didn't have a jar, so I went ahead and opened up a magpie, but I'll try not to make that a habit. I ended up using all of my jar generator in this first hour, so a few hours into the grind, I decided to just use the jars that I had in the bank, but this just proves that the jar generator is really useful even for main accounts, and it should last you a whole hour if you decide just to focus on these 3 implings alone. Overall, receiving 2.3 million GP profit in 1 lucky impling in the first hour made me much more motivated than I was before I started this video, because I really didn't know what to expect. But after purchasing my second jar generator, it wasn't too long until I found yet again another dragon impling, and these are currently worth 450k a piece, so the money with these implings is quite a bit. I think the magpies are around 30k and the ninjas are 64k. Now, I've been meaning to get into the dark lure spell that people tend to use on these implings over using entangle, and essentially if you decide to cast dark lure on these implings, you will then cause the impling to come to you instead of you just freezing it and you going to it. It'll basically move towards a 2x2 area and it'll stay there for 6 seconds, and you have to wait for a 6-second cooldown until you can cast the dark lure spell again. But this all seems so new to me, I decided that for the first 5 hours of the video I would use entangle on the implings, and for the second 5 hours I would go ahead and try out dark lure with the Arceus spellbook. Well, I managed to finish the second hour with 1.4 mil profit, not quite as much as the first, but it's still decent. And I think the biggest takeaway from this video is that this was all done in 2200 and 2k worlds. In other words, I only really rotated throughout maybe 4 to 5 worlds this whole grind, instead of using normal worlds where I just could not compete with the bots there and the gold farmers. I hate bringing attention to the botting problem because I really feel like it discourages people to play, and it brings negativity in general into the video, but it is important to note that unfortunately there is a lot of bots here in normal worlds, and if I was to use those normal worlds, there'd be no way I could catch 2 dragon implings in the 3rd hour here. I mean, it's absolutely incredible the results in these emptier worlds compared to the normal populated worlds. But don't be discouraged on the next bot nuke. I'm sure they'll take out a lot of the Puro-Puro bots, and it'll be a little bit more bearable for those worlds, hopefully. But either way, I did manage to make 1.6 million GP in the 3rd hour, so we're still averaging pretty good rates here. I would like to see some more 2 mil hours, but it really just depends on how often you run into those dragon implings, and of course if someone snipes it before you can even get to it or discover it yourself. I really liked using Ring of Endurance for this one. There's another dragon impling, getting a lot of dragons in these first couple of hours. I certainly hope it doesn't slow down anytime soon. But yeah, the Ring of Endurance with a graceful setup and a couple stamina potions is a really good setup for this, along with the rune pouch with entangle, or of course death lure if you decide to use that. In general, magpie implings require 65 hunter, ninjas require 74 hunter, and dragons require 83. So really you just need that 83 in order to do the exact same thing that I'm doing. Even though I'm 99 hunter, I'm still gonna be catching them at the same rate that you are. It just might take you a few more attempts with your net, but as long as you're freezing them or, you know, luring them to you, it should be fine. And there's our 4th hour completed. 1.4 million GP made that hour, and still no lucky implings since the first couple of minutes, so hopefully we run into some more of them. I'm now over 100 magpies though, and there's another dragon impling. So nice to always see them. Very nostalgic way of making money back in the day for me around 2011. This was a really good source of GP for me. So dragon impling number 2, all in the same hour, so that is going to lead us to the halfway point, and we are just continuing to see the profit climb and climb. Now, I did have a little bit of competition. There was a guy in full Virtus with a purple halo, I believe, and he was here practically in the same worlds, rotating the same way I was all day long. So had he not been my competition, I might have made a little bit more GP or gotten some more implings, but he was doing the same exact thing I was, and as a matter of fact, he was using Death Lure, that Arceus spell I told you guys about, and now that we're in the second part of the video, I was deciding to use it too, and I really enjoyed it. I would no doubt say that this is much better to use than Entangle, so hopefully you watched this far into the video so you know that, because yeah, I mean, I'm just amazed at the Arceus spellbook. So many useful spells on there, and maybe switching to resizable mode HD just somehow changed my my luck because I somehow got 3 dragon implings, all kind of in the same 15-minute time span, which led me to a very successful hour, this time actually hitting over 2 million GP. I had a magpie before that inventory, so yeah, that is a clear 2 mil hour. It's nice to see that repeat. I was kind of afraid that was only going to happen for the first hour. Now, if your hunter level isn't as high as 83 and you still want to make money from Puro-Puro, you really only need level 50 hunter to catch eclectic implings, and you can just stack those in your bank and catch them consistently here and make some decent profit. That as well as having 58 hunter for nature implings. Well, it took quite a few hours, but here is our second lucky impling, and I was very lucky to get that because here's that guy in Virtus with a halo that was taking all of my other implings, it seemed. That guy was acting like a bot, you know, he was walking around a lot, never said a word in 8 hours that he ended up being there with me. So yeah, very strange guy, but I don't judge. He was also catching natures on the side and eclectics. So I guess he was catching everything that was profitable. And you know, if you do that, you might be able to make more than I was because I wasn't going for the natures or eclectics, but they are decent priced, just not as much as the magpies, so they didn't really seem interesting to me. What a long day though of grinding Puro-Puro, and luckily for me, another lucky impling. I was stunned to see 3 in 10 hours, let alone 1, and following that, a dragon impling. It really is true here that some hours are luckier than others, and some worlds are luckier than others. You know, you might not encounter a lot of implings in certain worlds, and other times it really just depends on timing and spawns. But yeah, you can make insane money here, and you can also make pretty below average money here. As a matter of fact, on my second to last hour, I only made 400k because so many people were logged in to the total level worlds doing this. On my last hour though, I did make 800k, so it's clear that peak times are not a good time to be doing Puro-Puro, but with this 10 hour being successfully completed, I managed to make 14.8 mil in 10 hours along with 3 lucky implings, which translates to 1.4 mil an hour at Puro-Puro. Not bad at all. Now let's open up these lucky implings. We can get an item that is worth probably a few GP, or we can get an item that's worth 10 bill. So far, a dragon mace, so far a rune dagger. What does the last lucky impling have in store for me? 38 law runes. Well, I had a lot of fun with this one. I have been on all day, so I'm gonna go get some sleep. Thank you guys so much for watching today. If you want to support the channel further, feel free to download Pocket Champs using the QR code as the sponsor for today. It does go a long way. And a huge thank you to the YouTube channel members, with a special shout out to Angelzblood, DeceptionZ, xXzoticx, and Necrofear. Until next time, guys, thank you for everything. Mr. No Sleep, out.